How's it going out there, Matthew?
I am doing good. It's going good. How are you guys?
Doing okay.
Good.
What's it been like to be back out there and throwing the ball around?
It's been good. It's been fun. Obviously, a lot of new faces, a lot of young guys out here. So it's been a lot of fun getting to work with some of those guys and just getting out here playing a little bit of football.
You guys are installing and doing all those things. Some of the younger guys are getting opportunities in the mix to go through some of that mental stuff. What have you seen from guys like Puka?
Yeah, it's been good exposure for those guys. I know it's probably a lot for those guys right now, but it's a lot of fun to kind of try to teach them on the fly, and they're doing a great job of trying to grasp what they can grasp and lean on the vets to kind of help them out along the way. Puka's done a nice job. He's gotten some reps really in all three groups. Every time I look up, he's running around somewhere. So he's done a nice job, made some catches for us. But it's really just trying to develop all these guys, let them see what an NFL practice looks like, what it feels like, how to stay off the ground, all those kind of things. And, that's what this time is for. And then just trying to, get out there and execute our offense.
What's this been like for you compared to a year ago at this time? Being able to actually take part in stuff.
Yeah, it's great. It's nice to be able to go out there and throw, get work with the guys. At this point last year, I wasn't throwing at all. Wasn't really doing much. So I love playing. I love being out here, so it's nice to be able to be out here with the guys.
When you saw the draft, what was your reaction to seeing some big offensive linemen?
Yeah, I mean, it's great. I think, the biggest thing for me is just I want, like everybody here wants, is just all these guys to succeed. I want all of them to succeed as best they possibly can. I think, coaches, myself, veterans on the team, we have a big part in that, and then those guys got to want to do it and do all that. But just want to try and help those guys succeed, because the more of those guys that are successful in their own right, the better we're going to be as a team.
Speaking of those new guys, you've got some company in the quarterback room again after being there basically by yourself for most of the spring. What's that like, having that?
It's been great. I think all three of those guys have come in, done a nice job just being themselves. Obviously the two young guys learning what it's like to be in an NFL locker room out there on the practice field. I think they're doing a great job, holding their own and just going out there and learning and executing. And Rip's done a nice job of, stepping in, taking some of those reps and throwing it great. So.
You worked with Allard, Jackson, AJ a little bit last year. Obviously, lots of moving parts last year, but now he's come back in and he's made it clear that he wants to carve out a role. What do you make of his personality? How would you describe him? And what is his presence on that website?
Yeah, no, I think he's a competitive guy. I think it comes out in his attitude, probably when you guys talk to him, but also when he plays. Typical nasty offensive lineman, and it's fun to be around. He's definitely a competitive guy that wants to get out there and play physical, and it's up to all those guys to go in their spots like it is everybody on our team. But just as much competition as we can possibly have at all the positions is a good thing for us.
I know you were there at different times, but any comparing notes with Stetson about days at Georgia or anything?
No, they had it rolling better than I did. So he did a nice job when he was there.
Is that kind of weird? I mean, you were the captain of what was his national champ or honorary captain.
Oh yeah, not really. I'm weirder when people come up and say, "Oh, I watched you growing up and all that." I got 6-year-old daughters, and I think to myself, some of these guys were 6 when I started playing in the NFL. So it's kind of hard to sit there and think about that.
So Stetson told you that he grew up watching you?
No, not him. Actually, some other guys on the team. But I don't know. It's fun. I'm having a blast. All these young guys brings a lot of energy to the practice field and to the locker room. So it's
Speaking of the new guys, I mean, Zach Evans, a running back. I mean, what have you seen from him? And what words would best describe what you've seen so far?
Yeah, I mean, it's so difficult. It's probably one of the toughest positions this time of year to really evaluate, just considering nobody's getting tackled, and those guys make their money breaking tackles, so it's hard to see. I know that he's doing a great job just trying to learn as much as he possibly can. This is a complex system that a lot of people, coming from college step into and go, holy cow, this is a lot. So he's just doing everything he can to work hard, be here, and try to soak it up.
Matthew,
Just a couple more, guys.
The leg sleeve is new-ish. What's that all about?
I'm just going to keep putting more sleeves on my body as the years go, so just get used to it. No, I'm fine. I'm out here. I'm good.
What's kind of the culture goal for you as a veteran with these young guys at this time of year?
Yeah, I mean, I think just get out here and lead the way. You know, I think so many of them are first time on a practice field in the NFL and first time in a meeting room, first time doing a lot of stuff, and just trying to do everything I can to help those guys, like I said earlier, succeed. You know, enjoy being around them because they bring great energy. I mean, this is such an exciting thing for them, you know, to be out here on a practice field and you know, in May, and you know, it's my 15th time doing it, so it's just a little bit different. I love feeding off their energy, and then just try to lead the way, you know, any way I can. Good.
All set.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. I'm doing good.
What was it like out there today for you?
Oh, man, it was amazing. I mean, you can't really beat, you know, the scenery and the weather, but along that, you know, it's just great coaches, you know, it's a great group of people around here, so, you know, I'm glad I'm here.
What are your impressions of your teammates in that OL room so far?
Mm-hmm.
And Rob Havenstein obviously being sort of the senior veteran.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of younger guys in there, too. I'm talking younger, like under 30. But, you know, they all know what they're doing. You know, I'm taking in all the coaching I can. And, you know, it's definitely a bunch of camaraderie going around. Got a good group of people. You know, I'm learning stuff every day. So, I know, especially being a rookie and how they do things and stuff. So it's all fun.
Has it been overwhelming at all, or how do you kind of manage it?
Yeah, not really. I mean, for me, I know the transition from high school to college was tough, but I feel like, you know, you kind of get a taste of how things are a little bit. So this transition was a lot easier. It's actually my first time being away from home, but again, it's California. You know, it's a great place, so it's been awesome.
How did getting on the practice field for the first time in this last week and a half, 2 weeks, compared to you know, the expectations you had, you know, the reality of it when you experienced it?
Yeah, I mean, it was amazing. I mean, I if you were to tell 7-year-old me, you know, I'd be here, he'd be bragging at school. That's all I gotta say. But no, it was good, man. I'm just happy I'm part of this, you know, amazing organization. You know, just a lot of culture here. It's a great teammate. So.
Who have you leaned on so far?
Honestly, me and so Warren McClendon, he's a rookie as well. I met him at the Senior Bowl, and I feel like that's what a lot of those organizations are for. You know, you just meet a lot of people, Senior Bowl, the Combine. So me and him, you know, have kind of been together a lot. So about him, but I feel like a lot of the, you know, offensive line room. So basically the offensive linemen, you know, I've been around a lot. So it's awesome getting to know them.
Steve, you talked about the big difference from high school to here. What is the big thing that is different than college?
Yeah.
What's the biggest thing you noticed?
I feel like a lot of rookies will find themselves seeing like technique, because there's a lot of coaches that do things differently. Not one isn't like the right way to do it. It's just a different way of doing it, and that's really just the biggest thing for me, is just getting adjusted to those new things that I'm getting coached on. I feel like I did a lot better today than I did yesterday. You know, I'm constantly learning every day. I mean, I got a notebook and I'm almost halfway through it with paper. So, you know, but that's one of the things I like, you know, about football is, you know, constantly improving. You know, I look today, today on film, or when we watch it tomorrow, you know, I'll see something that I did better than I did yesterday. So.
On that point, this offense specifically, the McVay system, the language for the alignment is complex and it's very unique. So how are you going about immersing yourself in that side of it to where you can be free when you're playing?
Yeah. So sorry, I'm going to answer your question, but going back to the Senior Bowl for me, that was really the first time I had to learn a new playbook. It's really the same things, it's just different terminology. So that's really how it is here. It's just how the way they say things. It's just something that I have to get accustomed to. Just doing it on the fly too. You just have to be quick when it comes here. That's also another thing, you know, is the speed of the game. But, you know, I've learned a lot just with front IDs and stuff, and it all just comes together sometimes. So, you know, I'm looking forward to learning more.
You were 7. It's about the time Matthew Stafford was breaking into the league.
Yeah, man, that's crazy, man. I do remember him being on Detroit, man. I just didn't know it was that long ago. But yeah, it is surreal. I mean, you're playing with grown men now. As for college, you're playing with people that are almost 4 years older than you. But with that, it also comes with a lot of wisdom, from a lot of the older guys. So I feel like that's where the transition comes from being, a college player to an NFL player. So.
Going back to
couple more guys, couple more.
I know you said that you guys met at the Senior Bowl, but what allowed you both to become such fast friends and get along so well?
I feel like we just have similar personalities. Usually there's some guys that are stuck up in a way. I mean, he went to Georgia, so. But he's not like that, and I'm glad that I have a teammate like that. Not that I've met every Georgia O-lineman, so don't do that. He's a cool guy. But we're going through this together, and I feel like you always need to find someone that's going through the same thing, and so y'all can get through it together, along with other guys. Mike, the unsigned free agent. So we're all getting through this together. So yeah, good. I appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Hope he appreciates us the 6 months.
Hey, how are we? Good.
All right, everyone, fire away.
What was it like past couple of days being out there?
It's been cool. You know, trying to get the time in. It's really fast out here. Missed a couple balls behind him the first day that I tried to clean up today. But it's been good. You know, we got a big rookie class, and we're all just trying to work through the playbook together. You know, get it down. There's a bunch to it, but it's been fun so far.
I know you haven't been here very long, but would you say like the tempo's already faster than what you were used to at Georgia and any other place?
No, I wouldn't say that. We practiced hard at Georgia. We got after it, and we had a lot of numbers. You know, so but as far as just like speed of players, just knowing where to be, people have a bit more freedom, I'd say, in their positions and what they can do. So that's what makes it a little bit faster, a little bit more sped up. You better be, you know, on your P's and Q's, going to the right spot. Otherwise, something's bad going to happen.
The day you guys played in the national championship game, you know, Matthew's like, yeah, I'm going to go down and, you know, I'm captain with the kids.
Uh-huh.
And now you're sharing a room with them.
Yeah.
Can you describe that relationship and what was it before to what it is now?
Yeah, well, we didn't. I met him after the national championship, just, you know, daddy up, which was cool for me because I grew up going to his games. You know, my parents met in pharmacy school at Georgia, and so we've had season tickets since I was 4 or 5. You know, and so I watched him. I watched David Green, him. You know, Shockley, Murray, all of them growing up, and Stafford was like, you know, that's Matt Stafford, right? Like, and so to be able to come in here and just learn from him and listen, it's been pretty cool. I hadn't fanboyed out yet. So
what's the cerebral part of Matthew Stafford that's jumping out there?
Just the way he thinks about things. I'm not even on his level yet on the playbook to where I can get cerebral with it. You know, like I gotta learn the basics, like the plays, formations, you know, protections, to where then you can start getting cerebral with it, right? But you know, he knows so well. He remembers what it was like whenever he was me, you know, a younger guy, not really having a full concept of it, and so he, you know, dumbs it down for me and just says, you know, look here, look there, blah blah blah. And so that's where, you know, listening to him and how he applies the simple stuff to the complex stuff.
At times, he's obviously going to be off doing other things on the field, with whether it's install or some of the drilling and all of that. So for you, as you pick up this system and the language of it, is it helpful to have a guy like Brett Rippon around? I mean, he's been in not this offense, but this, you know, the shared system before. Right.
Yeah, and you know, Brett's a pro's pro. He knows how to go about it. He also already texted me. He's like, if you need any DoorDash or Uber Eats, you know, suggestions, I got you. And I was like, I will, dude. Like, you know, but like little things like that, like it helps. Like this is brand new for me, all of this stuff. You know, I was at Georgia for the past 6 years, and then small town in Georgia after this now, and we're in Thousand Oaks right now training, and so you need all the help you can get. But yeah, just little questions about like footwork here on play fakes or handoffs, stuff like that. You know, he's already had those questions and heard it from different offenses too, you know, as well as this one. But yeah, Brett's been a huge help.
Is there any particular part of the transition from college to the NFL that you think has been challenging, or is going to be challenging, or is it just the whole everything?
I think right now I don't know enough to know that yet. I can just tell you that it's fast. You know, I haven't taken a 11-on-11 rep yet, but those D linemen are coming. You know, and just the timing on 7-on-7. The hashes are a little bit different, so that makes for shorter throw to the field, but longer throw, you know, to the boundary, which is, you know, something, and the routes are a little bit deeper here. But it's really, I'm being patient with it. I'm not, you know, I don't want to tell myself what something is now when I don't know what it is yet. And so just trying to keep going, you know, learn every day, and get better at my mastering of like the basics.
The way that spacing does vary, in the way that you have to then relearn how to manipulate different spacing. Yeah. How do you not rush yourself through that?
Just by knowing, you know, I'm an older guy. I know what it's like to know something, and so I know what it's like to not know something. So I don't know it yet, and so I be patient, keep chopping, you know, until you know it, and then you can react and just play football. But yeah, it's just being patient, not trying to, like you said, rush and force something that's not there.
Have a long
Couple more guys.
I know it's early, but what about the transition from athletes to LA or just that cultural aspect? What's that like for you?
I mean, I've really just been in my hotel, studying playbook, coming here. These are long days and you get tired, so we're actually about to go work out after this. But, the weather's different. But then, what? Less humid for sure. Yeah. And you get burnt out here when you don't think you're gonna get burnt. My nose is like peeling. But no, it's been cool just to see the difference.
What have your conversations with Coach McVay been like?
It's been I tried to talk to him last week just for a little bit, just chatting. I don't know, and we just met, and but yeah, he'll come up and give me a little something. The first day I was kind of freaking out about the play calls and stumbling over my words a little bit. It's weird to hear the play set or the play call from the earpiece. It's just completely different than seeing signals, which is what we did in college. And so, but he was very helpful. And you're good. Come on, get through it. And so I'd have to ask him like twice. But he was helpful with that. And with all the rookies, he's been very, with the older guys, telling them to set the example, for the Standard or the Rams, and where we'd like to go from here. So.
He's known for being like real fast in the headset too in game situations. Did anyone warn you about what he's like in the headset?
No, but Matthew was like, yeah, I can hear him pretty clear, and I was like, I can't. So I got to work on that. But yeah, anyways. Good. Thanks, guys. Yeah.
you thinking about it?
Sandra couldn't even get a tan coming out.
What's up, guys?
How you doing, Sean?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Good. You guys go ahead.
Just want to check on Joe and Logan Bruss. Seemed like you were being careful.
Yeah, so Logan was out here yesterday, just being careful like you mentioned, and then Joe's making good progress. You know, we kind of always knew that he would just take part in some individual, do some stuff with Reggie and those guys off to the side, and hopefully he'll be ready to roll for training camp.
So how have AJ and then Tremaine looked?
They've done good. I mean, it's been, just been a couple days. AJ had a little stomach flu yesterday, so this was his first day. Just from the, outside looking in, I thought he did a good job, had a good demeanor. It seemed like it was just an overall sharper day in general, really from both sides, but there's so many guys out here doing stuff for the first time, but it's definitely been enjoyable. Guys are doing a great job coaching, providing that clarity, and we just want to be able to continue to take steps, but there's a lot of fresh energy, and I feel like we can practice a lot more with this group.
Because of the new faces, coaches and players, do you feel a renewed sense of importance with culture?
I think so, and I think in a lot of instances, those are things that when you just reflect back, Kurt, you take for granted and you never want to do that again. And so these guys have brought the right energy, both players and coaches, every single day, with that work ethic, the enthusiasm, the ability to be present, and they're bringing the right vibe. And that, that excites me. It's fun just being able to see, the amount of guys that have the right kind of bounce in their step. And, you can see it, whether it was from phase 1 to phase 2, looking at a couple days of being out here on the grass with these guys, being able to do some real football related stuff. We want to be able to maximize every single day and enjoy being out here.
No Cooper, no Aaron.
Yep.
Why?
Can you believe it?
No, I can believe it.
No, they had some family stuff that they're taking care of. So this has been consistent. We knew about this for a long time. These guys are engaged. Aaron was here for the first parts of it, but this was always part of the plan to be able to be with his family a little bit and some of the things that he's got to handle. And then hopefully sooner rather than later, Cooper and Anna will be expecting their third. So, but those guys have done a great job communicating, staying engaged, and they know everything that's going on. So feel good about that dialogue that's existed.
Do you expect Cooper will participate in the OTAs at some point, or
you know what? I think this is I think we'll just take that a day at a time, Gary. Whenever he does come back, we'll be smart with how we kind of onboard him and get him back up to speed. He's the kind of guy, he's doing a lot of stuff, keeping himself ready to go, but in his absence, taking care of number one priority, which is obviously incredibly important. You're getting a lot of these younger guys or some of these guys, to be able to establish a rapport with Matthew. We were talking about whether it's Van, whether it's Tutu, Puka, Ben Skronik, guys are getting opportunities, with some of the new tight ends that we have to just get a feel and Matthew to be able to establish and develop a rapport that, we didn't get a chance to do last year, and those are always chances to be able to improve. So those guys will be ready to go, know that they're doing the right stuff on their own, and when they're back with us, we'll obviously be excited about that as well.
Two quarterback adjacent questions. How have you watched Matthew and Mike LaFleur work together? And then on the other side of the field, how have you watched Zach Robinson really take on the younger guys?
I think they've both done a great job, Jordan. Both Zach and Mike have been instrumental really in a lot of the young guys, not exclusive to just the quarterback position, but, Mike sees the game through a great lens. He's super smart. You can feel, when you've led and you've been in the situations that he's been in, whether it be, in San Francisco, Atlanta, prior to that, even Cleveland or with the Jets. I mean, he's got, a great ability to understand the game from an all-22 perspective. He's a great communicator. He and Matthew established a real quick rapport. Mike's a hard guy not to like. He loves what he does, and Zach's a lot of the same. Zach has a real familiarity with what we've been doing the last couple years. I think Mike, came in and, it's a lot of the same foundational principles, but little tweaks here and there that can only help us be better offensively. And so those guys have done a great job with, both Matthew, but also the younger quarterbacks. I've been really impressed with, Stetson and Dresser, but also Brett Ripien came in and he's done an excellent job. You can see a guy that's been in a similar system, has a good command, just great demeanor in the huddle, and it's been fun. I've been enjoying watching those guys do their thing.
This franchise was so excited about Logan Bruss, and then he gets injured. Can you just kind of update us where he's at in his development?
Well, he's done a good job physically getting himself ready to go. You know, I think early on in camp, never really got a chance to get his feet wet appropriately. You know, had some good things that occurred in the preseason games, and then he ends up hurting his knee. So that rehab process, you know, took a while, but physically he looks good. And there were some good things that he did out there yesterday that was encouraging, and, you know, a little sore, which we kind of expected, and so we were smart with him. So I think the big thing for him is just keep taking steps. Don't get, you know, discouraged in the least bit. If you have to be able to take a day, and, you know, let's control the things that we can control. And I like where he's at. I think our strength staff and really Reggie and his group have done a good job of physically getting him ready to go, and then we're looking forward to continuing to evaluate him and him go cut it loose and have fun.
When you have a roster with as many young and new guys, especially for this year's OTAs, how could all does that change your approach as a coaching staff? Are you guys teaching more?
Significant. It's a lot different, Stu, because we get a chance to practice a lot more. There's a real importance on, you know, when we've had the continuity that we've had in years past, you can really say, hey, you know, these guys have played a lot of snaps. Let's make sure that we're smart and cognizant of, all right, we just finished up in the middle of February. How do we get them ready to go by the time training camp? And what's the best way to supplement that? Whereas, hey, you get better at football by being able to play it, and especially with a lot of guys that haven't done that. So really, this is, you know, the closest thing since, you know, 2018 in terms of actually doing some real teamwork. You still want to be smart just based on the parameters that are set around OTAs and things like that, but it's very different and it's refreshing. You know, you got a lot of guys that are eager and excited about their opportunities. I think there was a handful of guys that played last year that could develop some confidence, say, okay, I've been here, and then we were able to really, you know, reestablish how do we want to operate, what are the ways that we're teaching these things to make it as digestible as possible for the players, what are the solves, how can you get a little bit ahead of it. And I can't say enough about the job our coaching staff has done, and we know we want to continue to do that every single day from here on out.
One of the things when you're in the NFL for so long that you don't even think about is some of the transition stuff that especially quarterbacks make coming from college. Stetson was mentioning he's never even had an earpiece before.
Yeah.
And then mentioned that you were really patient with him, taking him through some of the calls because he couldn't.
Patience, huh? Yeah, that's excellent.
But, I mean, is that like a little perspective for you too? It's been a while since you guys have truly been developing a quarterback from the ground up.
It has, you know, and really it's a little bit different, but he's really smart. You know, both he and Dresser are really conscientious guys, and so, you know, it's a totally different vernacular. And so in a lot of instances, you know, sometimes you're getting plays communicated with just flashing a card in college. And I do think once you get comfortable with it, that's an advantage that we have, you know, and that's why it's so important to be able to make sure that you're building the foundations. It's not just, all right, let's just memorize a script, but I have really no idea what I'm saying in terms of the formations, the way I'm setting the protection, where's the concept, what type of read is it based on whatever the defense presents. And so there is a ton of information. You don't take that for granted. And so I think you want to just be able to build in bite-sized increments, but there is an element too where you get out there, and even in some of the 7-ons today, you know, the guy sees space, has a feel for it, can throw the ball with accuracy and anticipation, but that will be a steeper learning curve. And yeah, that's definitely something that we haven't had to do in a while, but the guys that we have had to do it with, whether it was a John Walford or Baker, you know, those guys were really quick studies and they had at least accumulated some experience, so it is a little bit different than anything we've done. Thanks, guys. All righty.